access the GVol Lite API through CryptoSheets on Microsoft Excel. So CryptoSheets is basically acting as a base where I can reach out, pull data through GVol, and access many different modules and endpoints of data to add directly onto my spreadsheet. So first things first, to get CryptoSheets set up, I'm going to dive into the add-ins menu and get this all set up. So the first thing we're going to do is go to the top of the screen and go to Insert, Add-ins, and then press Get Add-ins. Now, this is basically, if you aren't familiar with add-ins, they're additional plugins or mods that are an extra layer on top of Excel that can help you execute more specific commands tailoring to your interest. And they all serve different features and have their own unique functions. But in this case, we're going to search for CryptoSheets at the top, right up here. And hold on, why is this not showing up? There it is. So we're going to search for CryptoSheets right at the top. And once we see that pull up, we're going to press the green Add button to add it to our spreadsheet. And by adding it, we need to agree to all the terms and conditions above and press Continue. So as you can see, there's a little flag here that says Get Started with CryptoSheets, and there's a CryptoSheets pull down added to my Excel ribbon. So now that we have CryptoSheets added, I can dive into the dashboard. And the dashboard is the main powerhouse of CryptoSheets. Essentially, you can browse through different sets of API on the CryptoSheets dashboard and pull that data directly into your spreadsheet on your own command. So in this case, since we care mostly about GVol data, we're going to want to dive into our settings and add our GVol API key into CryptoSheets. So by doing so, I'm going to click on this gear icon right here to open up settings. I'm going to dive down to all integrations. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to scroll down until I see Genesis Volatility. Now for me, as for you as well, it should say activate. However, on my end, I already have my API key activated, so I'm not going to press this button. However, if you were to press this button, it should pop up with a little text box for where you can enter your API key, and then you press activate or continue right afterwards. So that API key will be given to you directly via email, or you may have it stored somewhere on your computer after you purchase API Lite through GVol. And that will be the basic function to get everything up and running. So once this is activated, whenever we pull GVol data through the spreadsheet, it's automatically going to plug in your API key to give you direct access to the data so you can view those awesome templates that I'm about to show you in just a few minutes. Now, to go back to the templates that we've created for you guys to use, I'm going to jump over to the Browse menu. And on the Browse menu, there are multiple options for you to search for different sets of data. Now, let's say I wanted to look at GVol data specifically. I could search for the word GVol, and it will come up with many different varieties of different spreadsheets that we've already created. So in this case, here are different templates we've created, but a more proper way of viewing the templates directly would be through the templates panel. So if I click on the templates, as you can see at the top already, regardless of me having anything entered, GVol already have templates right at the top that we can use. So if I were to click on, let's say, live spot prices as an example, this would be a great one to pull up because it's super simplistic, doesn't require a lot of tacit prereq knowledge, and it's very simple and anyone can understand. So I can click on this, and so this is going to load a brand new template for me that I can use using GVol API. So I can press Open New Workbook, and this should pop up with a whole new workbook on my screen once I press this button. So let's do this real quick. There we go. So as you can see, there's some random different boxes with different variables entered on here. And there's a chart that has some empty data. But in order to get access to the data, the first thing we need to do is press Trust this add-in. So after this add-in is trusted, if you look at the bottom of the sheet, there's different worksheets, right? So there's main sheet, there's raw data, and there's plot in and outputs. And as you can see, the data just came through right now. So essentially, the main sheet for every single GVol template that is going to be the hub to view all of your data. So if I wanted to view right here is the spot prices, it's going to show me the open, high, low, and close of the spot prices of a specific underlying that I select. And I'll show how these selections work in just a second. But on top of that, let's say you're more of an advanced user and didn't want to just view the data on your own from the format we provided and on this individual spreadsheet. We have the raw data pulled in on its own worksheet, starting from cell A1 all the way down until the data ends. So you can reference this data quite easily with titles saying saying the data that you're looking at. And then in the back end, if you're more curious to see how these productions are running, to plot all of this data on the front end of the main sheet, you can go to plot in and outputs, and it basically shows how we calculate the 5-day moving average, the 10-day moving average, and what exactly all these cells are referencing to spit them out on the main sheet to give these pretty charts. Now, in this case, as you can see right here, everything in the raw data is referencing all of these main boxes right here. So in this case, your GVol API light key that you entered earlier into your integrations, whenever it sees your GVol API light key, in the back end, when running this data, it is pulling your key directly and determining whether it's valid or not to access this data. And of course, if your key is valid, it'll give you some output. So not only do we have this set up where it's a perfectly seamless function that you can access data on your own command if you're eligible, but you can also select different currencies with this endpoint to view the live spot close prices. So let's say I wanted to look at Ethereum. There would be a little drop down menu between Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. So I could click on Ethereum right here, and as you can see, it's busy, and it just pulls the data just like that. But as a little extra feature, we also have a chart start date and a chart end date for this given endpoint. Now, this feature may be unique to this given endpoint, as most of the templates that we have all have very unique niche features that are only exclusive to that given template. And some templates may be more advanced than one another. This one is more of a simplistic template, but for the purposes of making this tutorial short and sweet, I'm only going over this one. So in this case, regarding the chart start date, I can select specific dates going all the way back in time for when GVol has that data, and I can select a given date, and it plots from these two given points in time the closing price, in addition to the 5-day moving average and so forth. And I could also choose the end date as well. So let's say I wanted to make this yesterday's value. I can click on that right there, and it also plots the closing price with the moving averages up until that given point in time. And not to mention, you can also select time zones too. So depending on where you are, you can tailor this to your interest based on time of day and when closing price should be, because closing price is calculated at midnight of a specific time zone. So let's say I want it to be UTC. You might see that 7:10 just changed to 7:11 right here due to the differences in time. And that is totally okay, and UTC is the universal format that GVol usually uses, so out of preference for data consistency, UTC would be the go-to. And not to mention, regarding moving averages themselves, you can choose whether or not you want to display the moving averages. Clearly, you can see the chart changing as I choose whether or not to display those moving averages, and that's all up for your interpretation for the given spreadsheet. Now, regarding what the actual templates give you on a general aspect on this main sheet, outside of all this data, one thing you are going to notice across all the spreadsheets in Microsoft Excel is that it'll say the title of what the endpoint is. It'll have a little hyperlink to our YouTube channel, a hyperlink to our Substack, our website, and our docs. And for those who aren't familiar, our docs are the best way to get access and to understand what exactly all the data is representing, because I could click on the docs, for instance, right here. I'm not going to do it right now just to keep everything all neat and tidy. But if I were to click on this, it'll pull up the docs for the live spot prices and give me a good idea of how it's calculated, what it's pulling, and what the significance of the data is. And this is unique to each and every single endpoint that we have through GVol Lite, and this will be across all templates. And on your far right, in addition to all the GVol specifics over here, you can find CryptoSheets links as well with Twitter, social media, docs, all the nitty gritty for CryptoSheets too. That's pretty much it for setting up CryptoSheets within Microsoft Excel and connecting GVol Lite to it. And regarding future work, like I said, you can always go back to the CryptoSheets dashboard and find other templates in the browse menu for other offerings that we might have. And like I said earlier, all of these are extremely unique to each endpoint, and they could all offer very unique services to your investment analysis. Without further ado, that wraps up today's tutorial, and I hope all of you guys have a great rest of your day. Have a good one. Bye-bye.